Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning!
Hey guys, we are back with another Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba video. This time we are going balls deep by addressing and answering some important questions that has been running through the community for some time now. Like, how strong is Kibutsuji Muzan? How is Muzan able to survive after his head being decapitated from his body? And what is needed to actually kill this monster? Lastly, why does Kibutsuji Muzan look and dress like Michael Jackson? Yes, all of these questions will finally be answered. With that aside, like always, here is a quick plug for our sponsors, Anime Ryo. If you lot want to pick out clothing from your favorite anime, then make sure to check them out. Make sure to use the code ABD Squad to get yourself a 10% discount. The link is in the description and comment section below. With that, let's cue the intro.
You don't fuck with neck, bro.
And guys, if you lot haven't figured out by now, this video will contain spoilers for anime watchers only. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, then catch up to the manga. I promise it won't ruin your anime experience, but either way, if you guys don't mind being spoiled just a little bit here and there, then keep watching. To kick things off, let me run through who Kibutsuji Muzan is. Well, if you don't know by now, Kibutsuji Muzan is pretty much the ultimate demon villain. He is the first human to ever become one approximately 1000 years ago. Yes, that is correct. He is the original demon. Basically, back when Muzan was a human, he was fatally ill. Then a doctor gave him an experimental trial medication that ended up working to the next level. Bro, it turned him into a demon! The demon got him!
Oh! Demon got me.
But before Muzan realized this medication worked, he had become fed up with the thought that he wouldn't survive. So he murdered the doctor who was trying to save his life in cold blood. Not long after the drug kicked in, he gained supernatural abilities, but he became allergic to the sun. Sad times, I know. Not even the SPF 50 could save his skin. And killing the doctor seemed to have backfired because before he could figure out where to find the main ingredients, the blue spider lily, there was no going back. He searched all over Japan, but I suppose the doc took the info to his grave. Anyways, jumping back to the present, Muzan continued to search for the blue spider lily and a demon who could withstand the sun so he could absorb it. Hence, he goes around spreading his genes, if you know what I mean. okay, I meant spreading his blood, alright? Now, as I mentioned earlier, Muzan is like the head of all demons, like a father, much similar to how vampires are, and every demon has some part of Muzan's blood running through them, hence they are forever connected to him. In chapter 137, we learn from the head of the demon slayer, Kaguya Ubayashiki, that if Muzan dies, then all of the demons will cease to exist, either implying that all the other demons, due to being connected to him, will also die, or no more demons can be created after his death. Now again, Muzan is very similar to an overlord original vampire, and as the original Big Papa demon, Muzan's only weakness is said to be the sunlight. Cutting off his head with a Niichrin Blade doesn't seem to work like it would with the other demons. But before I explain why simply slicing off Muzan's head from his body isn't enough to kill him, let me break down how strong Muzan really is and explain some of his abilities. From the first introduction of Muzan, we know right off the bat that this monster isn't anything like the other demons. In a blink of an eye, Muzan was able to scratch and share his blood to a random passerby, and then later in chapter 14, as Muzan is confronted by some humans, he ends up killing them with ease. Like literally they look like flies to him. But Muzan's strength is later shown again when he kills effortlessly, but this time it's actually the lower demon moons, not just some weak ass humans. We can also tell that Muzan's strength far exceeds even the upper demon moons, as when Akaza, the upper demon moon 3, met Muzan after he had killed Rengoku, he reported back to Muzan, but instead of being proud, he ended up finding him disappointed. In chapter 67, Muzan expressed his disappointment, and with just a flick of a finger, he was able to inflict major damage to Akaza. Although this might have been due to Akaza having a larger quantity of Muzan's blood in him, therefore Muzan having more of a complete control over his body. But okay, so we get it. When it comes to raw strength, Muzan is super super powerful, but what other abilities does he really have? Well, the first and most obvious ability that Muzan possesses is Demon Blood Empowerment. Being the first original demon and all, Muzan's blood is a diluted serum to the one he took. And with just his blood alone, he can transform any human into a demon. They would gain similar but weaker abilities to Muzan's, like regenerative abilities, enhanced strength, speed and reflexes. But every human who turns into a demon gains access to a unique supernatural ability called Blood Demon Arts. Even Muzan won't possess these abilities, well, unless he absorbs the demon. Now, the more blood Muzan gives, the stronger the demon would be. However, it all depends on that specific demon and how much blood it can adapt to. If they can't hack it, they will explode. Muzan is also seen to have extra sensory perception, much similar to the other demon slayers, like Tanjiro has strong sense of smell, Zenitsu has strong sense of hearing, Inosuke has strong sense of feeling, and well, Muzan, he can feel the presence of both demons and humans, including their bloodlust. Moving on, another crazy ability Muzan has is absorption. Basically, he can absorb and assimilate anything into his being, such as objects, people or demons. For example, when he planned to just absorb the flesh seed spike branches that pierced into his skin as seen in chapter 138, as well as when he managed to absorb Tamayo when she shoved her hands into his chest. Not to mention the fact that his goal was to eat and assimilate Nezuko to gain immunity to the sun.
Dude, my man's even has telepathic communication.
Oh damn Sam, where you came from? I wasn't even finished.
As I was saying, another ability Muzan has is to be able to read the thoughts of the demons who share his blood. Although his demon subjects do have to be within close physical proximity to him for Muzan to be able to use this ability of telepathic communication. An example of this is shown in chapter 52 when he had called a meeting with the demon moons and used his power to read the minds of all the lower moons so he could permanently get rid of them. They're swimming with the demon fishes now, if you know what I mean. That was cute, right, Yusa?
I guess kinda cute.
Alright, anyways, later on, Muzan is shown sending telepathic messages and having full-on convos with the other demons that are connected to him. Yet another ability Muzan has would be to curse. Seems a bit unfair to the demon slayers that Muzan has so many supernatural abilities. Oh well, like I was saying, Muzan can put a curse onto a demon he creates by sharing his blood with them. The curse is, if any demon he has ever created mentions his name out loud, then the demon would die. Doesn't matter what the reasoning was, if you were forced or put into a spell to say his name, you will die. This was seen with Susumaru when she was tricked into saying Muzan's name by Tamayo. But if you do have a strong will, you can escape this curse by breaking free of Muzan's bond, like Tamayo and Nezuko did.
Alright, that's quite enough. Let me come back to my people. Now, the craziest insane ability that Muzan has is his regeneration. It is said to be the fastest amongst the demons, and an example of him showcasing this is when he instantly regenerates his body after being caught in an explosion of Kaguya Ubayoshiki's ultimate plan, and after being weakened by the blast and then attacked with deadly poison spikes to delay his regeneration, Muzan's head was decapitated, smashed and completely destroyed by the stone pillar Gyome Himejima. But even that wasn't enough to kill him. In a matter of seconds, Muzan regrew a new head. Which brings us back to the question, how and why is this possible? Like, look at this image of him. Just look at it.
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it.
His head is in pieces. How was he able to regenerate, and why only him and not the other demons? Well, here's a balls deep explanation, so listen up. Once Muzan became the first demon, the only thing that stood against him was the sun. Muzan realized that under the sun he would die, and hence he would hide from it. Once Muzan created demons by sharing his blood, it was clear that the power of the sun is deadly to his kind, as his subjects would perish at the sight of it. And as I explained in our why Tanjiro has a black sword, and even in our 12 Demon Moon explain video, we mentioned that to fight off against the demons, the demon slayers forged their blades made using the materials that was constantly bathing in sunlight throughout the year, specifically the scarlet, crimson, iron sand and ore, which is found on Sunlight Mountain. These materials are the closest things human can get to science the shit out the sun.
The sun is a deadly laser.
Like, you lot have to remember that only around the 1950s that solar cell came about. But coming back to the Niichrin Blade and why it doesn't work on Muzan, well, that's because the blade follows a spectrum of colors and wavelengths. Depending on the color of the blade, the amount amount of sun energy it can dish out is limited, and even if the blade was in the right color spectrum, the level of the sun energy it can hold would be dependent on the user, as in this universe the Nichiren blades react and changes its colors based on the holder. Although for most of the demons the usual Nichiren blade is enough because the level of sun energy it bears is more than required to kill the demon. However, when we go back to Muzan, due to him being the source of the demon energy, the level of sun energy required is greater than any Nichiren blade has. But we do know that Muzan had a near-death experience, right? In the sight of Himejima's incoming attack, Muzan wasn't scared or showed much signs of fear, but in his flashback against the Breath of the Sun user Yurichi Sugikuni, Muzan was pressed against the ground close to death's doors. This shows that there is a way to kill him, not just by the sun, but by even using the Nichiren blade. Now, it is true that the only way to actually kill Muzan is to use the sun, or the full embodiment of it, and that's not with some partial imbued sword and technique, but from what we know, the Nichiren blade has to be on the red color spectrum or so, and the user needs to fully embody the sun through the correct breath style, logically being the breath of the sun. And we know that Tanjiro has been passed down this breath style in the guise of the dance of the fire god. If you want to know more about this, then watch our video on the secret behind Tanjiro's dance of the fire god and how breath styles were created in Demon Slayer. But Tanjiro will more likely be the key to defeating Muzan once and for all, and knowing Demon Slayer, he won't be just alone. I'm pretty sure he will have his whole team backing him up. Now finally coming to the biggest question everyone was waiting for. Why does Muzan look like Michael Jackson? Was this intentional or just coincidence? Well, Koyoharu Gotoge hasn't come out with any statements about this, but you guys already know that we came up with a theory. One of Muzan's ability that I left out is to shapeshift, although other demons have showcased this ability, like how Nezuko shrinks to fit herself into the carry-on box. However, Muzan's control over his body is like no other. He can completely transform himself into someone else. He can even become a woman and a child, as we can see in chapter 52 and 67. This ability also helps Muzan look young and beautiful, although he can't do much about his pale skin because, you know, the man's a demon. However, coming back to the question, why does he look and dress like MJ? Well, a lot of you guys might not know this, but Kimetsu no Yaiba is actually set during the first several years of the Taisho period, from 1912 to 1926, and during this period, amongst the Western world, the fedora hat, which Muzan is seen wearing, became pretty popular, especially amongst gangsters. Although it is confirmed that Muzan traveled all across Japan, it's also highly likely that Muzan traveled to other countries in his mission to find the blue spider lily, and during his travels, Muzan could have been affiliated with gangsters in places like the US. This would make a lot of sense, as only Muzan is seen wearing this type of clothing compared to most Japanese people. Muzan has the ability to travel and culture himself in all areas due to his power and immortality. Now, why is this related to MJ? Well, the most iconic comparison is MJ in Smooth Criminal, when MJ himself is depicting a gangster. Now, this doesn't explain the similarities in hair, skin color, and facial features, but I'm sure all of this was a coincidence. Or was it? Maybe Koyoharu Gotoge is trying to say something. However, the first instance we see Muzan was the city of Asakusa, Tokyo, and the area is portrayed futuristic and more modern than what Tanjiro ever came across. In this area, other Japanese are seen wearing fedoras and suits, obviously not as extravagant as Muzan, but this goes to show Western fashion culture has already spread to Japan. But quickly coming back to Muzan and his powers, there are still a lot of things we do not know about. It is confirmed that he has many more blood demon arts, and considering he can absorb other demons and learn their special arts, it's possible that Muzan has some major cards he is holding out on. Anyway guys, with that, I hope you lot enjoyed this video. If you want more Demon Slayer content, then you know what to do. Smash that like button and type Muzan is MJ in the comment section below to let us know that you reached the end of this video. Subscribe, ding that notification bell to keep up to date, cause we will be covering more deeper topics very soon. Till then, I'll catch you lot next time.